Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining me today on Galactic Goddess TV. So, today we have a big subject that I've been meaning to talk about, but it's so big that at times it can feel a bit overwhelming because there's so many aspects to it. And that subject is energy harvesting and energy trafficking. Okay, so you've heard of energy harvesting before, right? So energy trafficking is a continuation of the energy harvesting. Energy harvesting is done in many ways. It's done by narcissists and it's done by those who have cut themselves off of creators' connection. So they're no longer um, in the organic flow of creation. Instead, they have willingly inverted themselves through, you know, many different things. Um, a lot of times it's by joining organizations and secret societies where they no longer have that flow and connection to the divine because the things that they're doing together in those groups are so atrocious and so anti-creator that they no longer have the ability to receive these cosmic codes, this divine energy. And this is where a lot of the energy harvesting comes, whether it be through sacrifice or targeting individuals. I know, and I will only speak because this is something I've been through and going through myself, and something I've had to learn to overcome and recognize what's going on behind the scenes. As I said in my previous video, when you when you don't know what's going on and you feel you feel something is happening behind the scenes, but you don't know, and you're still connected to source, you can ask or command, show me, show me, show me, show me what's going on, and show me what's happening, show me what I'm not seeing, show me, creator, show me. So you have the ability to ask and to make those requests, and it's a command. So you command that you're able to receive that information. So I'll just go into a little bit about my story, and I only use this because it's a great example. And I feel that the divine creator source has put me through a lot of nefarious situations so that I could be of service and help others because um being autistic, I break things down and I analyze them, I look at them from a metaphysical perspective as well as analyzing the mechanics of it. So I have been able to have the opportunity to have the firsthand experience of being energy harvested. Now, this can happen as soon as you're born because there are certain beings that really, really take close attention to like when people are born, what hour, what year, what date, and they do divine configurations and they can see people's potentiality based on the mechanics of astrology and the gifts and the energies that certain people come in with. And so destiny swapping and energy harvesting can happen even before you are born. Um, it's pretty crazy. And this is something I've learned about because I do, as I said, I do a lot of studying because I want to understand what's going on, but it leads me down the rabbit hole. And I discover these things not because I'm a part of them, but because I've had to learn spiritual defense. And part of that is um, going back in time and seeing where the point of inception happened, what's behind it, and deconstructing why this is happening and why do people need to feed off of others? Why do they need to steal others' destiny? So, when you come into this world, you doesn't matter what dimension, where you came from before. You will get a clean slate wipe and get full amnesia. That's part of the agreement you make when you come in. Therefore, you're not aware or privy to any of your former incarnations or your gifts or your things that you've mastered in many other lifetimes. But these beings who have really studied the occult, but it's generational and they've lived a much longer time in the sense of living on Earth and understanding the mechanics without having to give up their ability. They don't have to give up their consciousness each time. So they found ways to extend their life through various high-end technology. Um, what some people would call like ET technology, etc. And mind you, like it's so ridiculous when people ask for disclosure and stuff. The truth is we are all, and many of us are hybridized, and it's been going on for a long time. So, yeah. That being said, you will have to, go through the extreme pressure of having this experience happen to you to be interested enough to want to understand what's going on because there's no motivation. Like if it's not happening to me, why would I care? Right? There's too many things going on in life, but in many ways, I feel very lucky now that I have had these experiences because I know that I am here to be of service. This wasn't just for me. This is for others too, okay? And this is stuff that they definitely don't want me talking about, all right? And this is why I've been attacked so heavily because it is in my chart that I am here to help. I'm here for liberation, okay? And that's something that a lot of beings don't want because if people are liberated, they will not have a good meal, all right? Because their juicy meals and their power depends on the lack of consciousness, the lack of awareness, the lack of sovereignty within us, and the lack of questioning to just keep the blinders on forever and to see things that they're presenting, not to see behind the veil. So I there's just so much I want to say. So let me just start. Okay, let's just start with what energy trafficking is. And energy trafficking refers to the non-consensual harvesting, siphoning, manipulation, or redirection of human life force energy by individuals, cults, secret societies, or corporations for their own gain, whether material, spiritual, or technological. And this isn't always visible in the physical realm. In fact, it's never visible. It's something that you feel. If you feel like you don't have all access to you, you know you're you, but you don't feel like you have access to your own energy. You are exhausted all the time. I mean, for me, this this harvesting was so intense, it led me to be bedridden, okay, for years. And I thought it was my breast implant illness, and what it did was it really it took me down so far that my body wasn't working properly. So it just brought down my whole system and that crashed me out. And then my breast implant illness really activated, because you wonder like why some women get it and why some don't. But everything in my body was actually shutting down, okay? Because when too many beings are pulling on your life force energy, there's nothing left for you. And so going back to my story, I mentioned before about Dane, and he has a whole secret society and cult that he's a part of. And then there's my cousin. There's different like sectors to it, and they were cross working together in both of their cults. And so they're both feeding like all of these people, like hundreds of people feeding off my energy, and I'm just one person. And so it crashed me out to the point I was immobilized. I couldn't even get out of my bed. And I was working so hard. I was working in my bed, like trying to get things done, but I couldn't even get out of my bed. And so I thought this was physical. Of course, I went to all the doctors. I spent six figures, and like everybody was like, "You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Your blood work is perfect." And I was pissed because I was like, I know things aren't right. And that does have to do with the BII, but also what aggravated it even more is having leeches and vampires and energy harvesting and energy trafficking done to me without my knowledge. Um, so it can happen in the astral, psychic, energetic planes using advanced knowledge, esoteric systems, psychic technology, ritual magic, and trauma-based programming, which was all happening to me. So how I dealt with that was I actually went and got my operation. I got my implants removed. That helped tremendously. I felt a lot better, but the cycles kept continuing, and where I would like crash out again energetically and physically. And so I really started to question like what's going on. I knew these people were pulling at my energy because I have been targeted, harassed, and also gang stalked with starting with Dane really intensely over a decade, probably like 13 or 14 years ago. And it just kept increasing and it just kept going up and up and up to where the people were coming into my place. They were going into my car. They were stealing my mail. I mean, these people work in every sector and they work together and they were all promised something, right? So they target people to break them down and to sacrifice them. Because like if I had succumbed to this and passed, they would have thought that they got to receive part of my gifts, right? So they could divvy up my gifts that were meant for me, but they would be able to, like thieves, steal them, take them, and divvy them up. So they try to crash me out financially too by doing bank transfers without names, without phone numbers, illegal stuff. Going through my mail, like actually getting my mail, ripping it open, and then dropping it back off to show me, like, hey, look, like you're not safe. And do like really targeting my mind to try to break me down, put me in a state of psychosis so that they could get even more out of me, right? Because also my spirit guides, I also have a strong mind, and if they could get through to my mind and take me down all the way, they could, like my cousin was trying to get me into a mental hospital. She didn't tell me that, but she was telling everybody around that I'm crazy and this and that, which actually is the opposite. You know what I mean? So she was deflecting what she had. But I'm telling you this because these are tactics that they use, right? She wanted to have full conservatorship over me as a family member. And so she had to build these web of lies. And she did it within all my family and my friends and all my contacts and my exes. And then the other network with Dane, they really worked on stealing. So they would come and steal things from me, steal things out of my car, steal my items, and they took things that were really important to me, like my phones, like my purses. I've had probably six purses, phones stolen. And I've had about the same amount of computers stolen. So they want to take things that you use that have your energy. They want to have pieces of you, your hair, your clothing, your underwear, like everything that you touch, they want because they can use that in their rituals, okay? There's a point here because this has a lot to do with the ritualistic harvesting. They can't actually get you in to their groups to do this stuff because I was not consensual and I actually said no, like I don't want to be thrown to the sharks, okay? Because Dane had said he couldn't wait to do this stuff to me. And I'm like, no, I'm not joining. Um, I can't I can't be I can't be bought and sold energetically into these groups because I belong to the creator and the creator belongs to me. And side note, that doesn't mean I didn't do stupid shit on my own. I did when I was younger because that was me rebelling against the system, okay? But that has nothing to do with this. The other thing they try to do is shame campaigns. So they try to shame you through campaigns um like Dane was always tapped into my phone, like would love to listen to me in the bathroom, anything I was doing, right? Anything I was doing, they were part of it so that they could make commentary about it and stealing my underwear and just tr they wanted to do humiliation rituals on me, which they did. But again, I didn't succumb to them because I'm really glad that I've done shadow work and done the work that I've done because, you know, these people, they have a lot of shame and they have a lot of guilt for the crimes they've committed against very innocent. Well, some of them don't. Some of them don't have any guilt, but some still have a little bit of a conscience. And they know they've engaged in a lot of ritual activity and some stuff that is unspeakable. And so what happens is that's stored in their subconscious. So they want to offload that to their victim that they're targeting. They need to get that off. And that's also part of a destiny swap. If they can take all their shame, all their guilt, and their bad karma and dump it onto you, so you're processing it out for them because they know you're a healer, they know you have the abilities. And so you're stuck with all that karma. Well, they're just living their life carefree and they're also siphoning your abundance to them. Um, it it this is all energy harvesting, and I want to get to the trafficking part of it. Okay? Because in the cult, you know, in ritual harvesting, they all come together and they're doing their thing, they're chanting your name, they have your stuff, they're doing sex rites. Um, they really used my cousin to access me because we shared the same DNA. So that's another way that they could do it is if they get somebody in your family to come against you, it becomes a lot more effective and efficient. So that's why they recruited her. And the funny part is like, sh you know, she thought like, oh, I'm so special. It's like, no, they couldn't recruit me. So they recruited you as a second best to come against me, to be used against me. Um, so, you know, even in religious orders and even in the new age cults where they energy siphon from devoted followers, like everybody at the top of the pyramid, you know, all of these new age spiritualists that are so famous and you know all this stuff, like they're at the top of the pyramid. Okay, they're false light leaders who create energy loops where followers send their prayers, their devotion, they put them on a pedestal, or even sexual energy to them. Like a lot of OnlyFans, like they don't know that they're like the OnlyFans models to like that whole network, and they're being used to harvest energy from men, okay? They're being used to harvest energy from men because when they're stepping into that, it becomes a looshing center. This is all about loosh. And to explain to you a little bit more about loosh, loosh is like an energy that comes out of human beings. It's actually a term that was coined by Robert Monroe to describe human emotional energy, and it's like particularly fear, and as I said with the OnlyFans, lust. That's why it's such a big thing. They're coming from every angle. So when we talk about these organizations, they're creating these big distorted events to create fear and trauma. Then they have the OnlyFans factory and all of that porn industry to create lust so that men are out of alignment with their hearts and they're not following their hearts anymore. They're following a lower aspect of themselves, and uh, there's actually a demon that works with the OnlyFans, and it's almost like this tentacle being that looks like a octopus that's just sucking all of their life force, and then it actually hooks in. So there's a hooking. That's why people get addicted to certain people and things because they're addicted. Um, so also pain. So if they can create pain. So in a lot of ways, when they came to target me, they wanted to create this fear that I had nowhere to turn, that I would never be safe, that they were taking my money, stealing it straight out of my bank account. They were taking my mail. They were taking my contacts. They wanted me to be so isolated, like a scared animal, so that I would be more accessible to take from. And so yeah, so they come in every angle. They even target your health, and that was working for a while. Like I got so sick. I really thought I was going to be on my way out. And then of course my cousin tried to kill me twice by poisoning me. And if she was successful, then they would have been able to take a lot more. Um, it's crazy because like what happened to Diddy's ex wife or partner who got really sick, who got pneumonia. Like they have these bio weapons available to them and they can isolate them. So that's why I got pneumonia and I got sick out of the blue while as everybody there, when I rented the villa, my cousin was staying in the villa I rented and paid for, and I was treating her, and she tried to off me with a isolated poison bioweapon. And it was very effective because I almost died. And I'm actually really glad that that happened, even though that was horrifying, because believe it or not, I actually burned out a lot of MK Ultra. So my fever was so high, and I was in bed for like over a week, just at the highest temperature, just sweating, couldn't even move and get out of bed. But what it did is it actually burned out some mind control, and I know that because even after the fever broke, like after she left, there was a whole program that was running in my mind that was burning out. And it came as a bunch of pictures and videos and like cartoons or porn and things I haven't never seen, recalled seeing, things that I wasn't exposed to. I remember one image of like nuns, and at the very, very end was a giant kind of moving Queen Elizabeth, and then that burned out, and then it broke. So it's funny how the creator, the divine source, will use all of these experiences that are harrowing, and you're just teetering on life and death. And if you're here for a reason, the creator will use that as an excuse to burn out something that didn't belong inside of you, okay? Because my cousin had taken me prior to places where, you know, I had been injected and things that happened against my will because of her. But she was in a sense like a handler before I knew what a handler was. So, this was all burning out, but it's so let's go a step deeper. So Loosh is also considered a high value commodity in interdimensional energy markets. Okay, we're going out there. We're getting out there, and it's hard to explain. It's probably a little challenging to understand, but let's just break the ice because somebody's got to talk about it. So there's international energy markets, where entire systems are built to provoke, harvest, and reharvest its energy. So it's not just these enemies here. There are, we're in dimension like 1 through 12. Um, and so every dimension, like the ETs and the angels, and I mean the fallen angels, they're all in these higher tiers, and they actually from 12, they closed the gate at 12. And so what happened is there was a whole reversal in the system and the energy instead of flowing up, it was flowing down. It was all inverted, okay? The inversion, the great inversion, and we are a byproduct of that inversion. So in all of these dimensions, every being on the top tiers are running on the inversion cycle. So they need all the energy down here. So that's why they would create a lot of chaos, the wars, the things that are going on. They seem like they're political. They seem like it's about one thing when in fact it's not, okay? So all legacy media is in bed with this because all of the representatives of these inverted realms are in the politics, in the media, etc. So it's it's a lot. So all of these secret societies and stuff, they think that they're like freed up and that they have the power, when in fact they're just getting a small bit of what the others are taking. So they're actually servants of these inverted beings. So they're actually servants of these beings. And so the people who are running on organic systems and are still very rare part of the organic, are extremely valuable to the others who have given up their organic system that was given to them by creator, by source, by God, goddess, whatever you want to call that, divine creator. And they were given that when they were born. Now, of course, the harvesting and things could have happened, and if they were born into these cults and secret societies, which many are born into. Um, my own my own grandfather was a 33 Mason. So you get, by design, you're already contracted into these systems, and it's um basically it's a trade system, so you're already sold in a market you didn't even know you were being born into, okay? And that's the thing about these secret societies, is that they think that they're above it all. They think that they're not going to be touched and that they're the predators, when in fact they're far greater predators than them. They're just the minions and doing the bidding of these predators, and at the very end, they will be pulled down into the system, and they will also be prey because nobody's immune to this, and especially when they pledge their allegiance, they don't really know, they don't understand how deep it goes. Perhaps they think that they do, but they don't know, because I'm telling you from my firsthand experience, I had a I had a friend um that was dear to me, that really helped inspire me with my writing, named Paul, and he was in the entertainment industry. I had to pull away from that friendship because he was inviting me to travel with him around the world and to be on movie sets and stuff. But like, I was very happy with the friendship. It was like, you know, to me that was valuable. And I mean, he was offering me a lot of opportunities and I didn't take those opportunities. I was a friend. I was a real friend, and a lot of people don't understand. They get confused when somebody is really amazing and really cool, that like friendship doesn't always have to move over into the sex zone. Like there are some things that are precious that you should keep as precious because um, I was an angelic ally. And so I understood that he had, he told me about his dark, how do I describe it? Like a dark being that was attached to him. And that's part of the ritual stuff that goes on. And, even being born into these lineages, you do get entities and energies that are attached to you and stuff. And that's a lot of what I've had to work through personally is like to get this stuff off, get this stuff out of my energy field because sometimes you don't even consent to it. It's just part of what you're born into. And you do have a choice by your own free accord where you have to work for it. You have to fight for yourself and you have to fight for your sovereignty. But it's very possible, okay? It takes it takes you believing that it's possible. So he had this dark, very dark, demonic type being that was attached to him. And he even had a huge painting in his living room, and it was of this dark demonic being. And I was asking him about it, and he was telling me what it was. And I understood, but it was also connected into his traumas and things that he wasn't fully willing to heal, but partially because he did ask me for a healing and I did do a healing and he just sobbed and cried for hours. And I was deeply moved because I understood. I understood what he was going through. I understood what he was up against. I understood that pain because I've been through that myself. But there are many steps that you have to take to further to like get rid of this entity to be freed of it, okay? It's not just a one-time healing process. He was able to release so much grief and pain about this, but he would have had to take it further to to be able to release himself, but he wasn't willing to discuss all the other stuff, which like being a psychic medium and I already know like what's there, but it's not my place to say so. And so I've had a lot of like celebrities or people in the industry that come to me that I've signed releases with and such um that they wanted relief from this heaviness, but they could only take it so far with me because of their own vows, oaths, and commitments that they made to these fallen systems and the fear. Okay, so fear is something that will keeps you stuck forever, and even people in these secret societies, they also have a lot of fear. Um, they feel good when they're able to be a predator and to create these rituals and they feel like they're overtaking somebody's life like mine. It gives them a sense of power and purpose. And the truth is, it's all false because the moment that somebody like me says, no, you don't get to continue to harvest my energy, you don't get to continue to traffic my energy, and I'm putting my foot down is the moment that everything that they built off of my energy comes crumbling down. And you're seeing that all over in the world where many people that felt that they were victim because they were victimized by these organizations, targeted and conditioned, deeply conditioned to basically be this small and to continuously be working off the karma for these beings because they didn't know that there was that they were actually being used in rituals and so much karma was being put onto them while their good energy was being taken. Okay. So now that we've talked about that, let's talk about ways in which signs that you might be energetically trafficked. So, if you struggle with reoccurring fatigue, like even when you rest, you just feel exhausted down to your bone, okay? You may have dreams of rituals. In your dreams, you may have lovers, and you're like, hmm? So a lot of times they come through the astral to siphon your energy through sex. And it's like in the astral, many people don't know what you're doing, they don't understand, or they're being chased or hunted. With a lot of the clients that I've worked with who are much more aware, they talk about, um, you know, the word that starts with R and then PE in the astral. And so I've gone down the rabbit hole with a lot of my clients who are very, advanced beings, but everybody that's been thrown down here in this place has gone through this. And some just succumb to being predators because they feel safer. They actually feel like they're protected, but that's absolutely not the truth. In fact, they're only getting themselves into much deeper trouble because what will happen, like my friend Paul, when he passed away, um, I actually had to do a rescue mission for his soul. His soul was screaming. It had been captured by those dark predators that were attached to him, and now they consume you on a soul level, and it was gnarly. So as usual, I got the call energetically, and he was like, "Help!" So I tuned in and I saw that he was completely captured. So I had to do a rescue mission and basically recapture his soul from them and bring it back to Creator and to the heart of the Creator to heal and to wash and to cleanse and to um, ask on his behalf that he be freed from them. It's a lot, you guys. It's a lot. Like you don't you don't get to do this stuff and then think that when you pass that you're automatically going to be saved by them. They actually consume your soul and they torture you for eons of time. Or like time is all relative, but what may feel like eons of time. So he had already been tortured for some time, but his soul remembered me and the kindness and the love that we shared platonically, that there was an innocence. He knew and he remembered, and when he needed me the most, he called. So um I was happy to help because I know he's a good person. I know that he may be involved in nefarious things, but um there's a goodness inside of him. And so there's a goodness in all of us, right? There is like there's a goodness in all of us, but we have to keep nurturing that with our innocence. And that's the one thing they want to target. Like with me, like I've had this, like I guess it's an autistic innocence my whole life where I didn't see people. I saw their potential. I didn't want to see the bad in people. And uh that was the case like with my cousin. Like she was always betraying. Like every time I turned my back, she was off betraying, talking, turning someone against me the whole entire time. All my relationships were sabotaged because of her, but I would just forgive because there was something beautiful. There was this spark of light inside of her. Um, there was this spark of inside of her, and I remembered her as a little girl and that innocence. And I guess in some way, like I made this promise even when I was a child that I loved her and I wanted to protect her. And I had to watch her mother like go through a lot of darkness and mental illness and the eventual death of her. And there was nothing we could do to save her because even though my mom was paying for her hotel to stay, she would just run away and sabotage. And unfortunately, my cousin ended up being very much like that, like her mom, and turning on everybody that loved her and self-sabotaging to the point of no return. And it's like the saddest, horrible thing to go through because like nobody wants that, like I always wanted something good to happen for her. And I always wanted her dreams to come true and supported them and didn't just support them on the sidelines, invested financially into them and introduced her to people and brought her to studios and had her create a whole entire album, which was so good. And I even did an album with her. We were in a group called Mestiza, which she destroyed. But the point is that sometimes you can't save people. And that's been like a lesson. Oh my gosh, that's been a lesson I've had to learn. I always thought like through love and through care and through fighting for people, you could, but sometimes you have to let people go because they'll fight you and they'll kill you if you get in their way. And so the surrender is so important. But like with Paul, like, I had to let him go because he was trying to make this friendship that was so innocent and beautiful. And we were actually writing a script together. His demon on his back was trying to force it into more than it was meant to be. And so I had to step back. I gave up I gave up continuing to write that script with him, the sculptor. I mean, I was writing it, but I stopped because I wasn't gonna go there with him because I respected him too much to like, once you step into the to that zone, then you're just like using somebody, and to get ahead, right? Because I could have used him for all he was worth, to get into the spotlight. He told me if I traveled with him and went to the movie sets, he would have given me roles. But like I don't know, call me old-fashioned. Like I wanted to create something. Like I don't like it's so gross to have to always like make something else out of something that doesn't, there's no need for that. Like something beautiful is there. Why do you have to distort it? Then you want me to just think of you as an object, right? Like, oh, I want to come with you here so I can get this. Oh, I want to come here with you so I can get that. Like, I didn't think of him like that. I thought of him as a real artist. I saw his heart. I saw his soul. We had a past life in Italy. And I just loved him for who he was. And um, I just loved him and I didn't want to distort that because I didn't want him as a lover. Like I didn't. So if I did that, then it would distort my perception of him and I would just see him, yeah. Sometimes you just have to let things go. And so it's okay. Like that's part of being mature. It's like heartbreaking because there's so many relationships I had to let go because the demon on people's back tried to distort it. And even with Dane, like when I first saw him, like it was soul recognition. Like I was like, whoa. And I saw him staring at me like And there was this soul recognition, but instead of him being like, whoa, what is that from a heart level, he was like in predator consciousness and was like, I'm gonna destroy her. I'm gonna make her submit by stomping on her, stealing from her, torturing her. And like that's like ridiculous. Okay, that didn't make me respect him. That didn't make me honor him. Like we could have been friends. Like I could have honored him, but what he was doing was not honorable. Okay, so be careful. Be careful. Don't dishonor people who are good people. Because you won't get that love, you won't get that respect, and you won't get the goodness and the blessings that they bring. You try to steal it out of them and harvest it out of them. And in the end, you get nothing. Okay. So another sign is like, when you go to concerts and concerts, big concerts, that's energy harvesting 101. Okay. They already have that set up in place that they're going to harvest everybody's energy. They even do rituals in front of everybody, but people's eyes are not open, and you can't tell people who aren't willing to see. Um, if you spend time with people and you frequently get exhausted. Like I used to think about when I was with my cousin and how exhausted I'd get all the time being with her. And she would get so much energy. She'd want to just start doing photo shoots and I was like, oh, just like being with her was like so draining, but I loved her and I never put two and two together, which was so obvious. Um, Another way is like I had another friend and like what was crazy is like I would talk to her and then I would get drained and then she would have this big financial come up and then something would happen that would crash me financially. So also check in and see if like phantom sensations like cords, pressure, pulling in the solar plexus or the sacral, emotional states that feel inserted, like it's not your own. Like if you're getting weird thoughts and you're not the kind of person that's just like thinking that way, but all of a sudden, you're getting crazy thoughts. You need to check in and see if those were inserted, projected. I've done so much research and it's like I found out about this thing called mirror magic where they're projecting their distortions into you. It's so gross. It's like, you guys, you're not going to get away with this. Like, you have to understand, you're going to have to pay this off one way or another, this lifetime or next. And it's so bad. Like, I have been to the hell realms. Like, when I did Aya, Creator actually took me on a tour to hell. And it wasn't just like one realm of hell. It was like realm after realm after realm after realm. It was like so horrifying that I was like, oh my gosh, like is this I never want to go there, okay? Like I don't want anything to do with that. But I was being shown because the feeling. I could feel it. It was just, you can't escape when you're in there. There's no escaping. And it's like one of the hell realms, it was just eyeballs everywhere. But it was this feeling of like being penetrated. And like the creator didn't take me there to torture me or anything like that. It was like, here, I want to show you something. This is like, don't hate your enemies or people that I don't have enemies, but the people that try to make you an enemy, don't hate them because here's the thing, like they don't understand like what's gonna happen and like you guys, it's none of this is worth it, okay? It's not worth it. Like these hell realms are places you never want to be. You never want to get stuck. And then the worst part is you don't have any help. You don't have support. You can't call in the creator there. Like this is a place that you won't be able to leave until you work through your karma that you're unwilling to work through here. That's all I got to say about that. Okay. So, if you feel like your spiritual gifts are weakening or that you're being mimicked by others, so energy trafficking, they want to take your essence because it's divine, honey. It is like that, honey. It's sweet. It's precious. It's a commodity. It's not a commodity. It's something that is so rare and so divine. Um, because it's creator energy, right? I mean, these people that basically told the creator to F off, but they're treating this energy like gold, and this is the energy of creator, okay? This is actually creator's energy, okay? It's just that these people who are still running organic systems are running in the system of the divine. And so this is just creator. That's why these people are self-generating and they're hard to kill because the divine energy is running through them. But you have a whole group, you have sectors of secret societies that are pulling on it and even corporations. Like, yeah, that's exhausting. No wonder why you're exhausted. And you need to check and see if this is happening to you. Um, okay, so let's talk about energy trafficking versus energy exchange. And there is a difference between sacred energy exchange and trafficking. So, energy exchange, as you know, it's mutually agreed upon. It's like, hey, I really like you. Like with Paul, like I really liked him. I just loved his energy. I love his artist. He's like there are people that are soul family that you just feel love for. And there's no reason why, but like being somebody who checks into past lives, I saw that we had some beautiful lives in Italy and other places. There were so many good feelings and memories. So it's sovereign. When we got together, we were talking about art and creation and um, talking about this script that we were creating and projects. And so the feeling is energizing, uplifting. It involves integrity and respect, and it leaves both parties feeling stronger and clearer and more revitalized. So the difference is with energy trafficking, this is all done in the dark. Okay, this is hidden, manipulative, non-consensual. You feel drained and disempowered, and there are cords that are being put into you, manipulation or obligation. The feel like people that they bring in because they may want to bring people into your life as your handlers, like my cousin, and they use a lot of guilt or shame or like I always felt guilty that her mom was so crazy and died in such a horrifying way that I felt guilty as a child about that. Like even though it had nothing to do with me and it was actually causing me a lot of distress to witness, but that like horror that I felt, I wanted to prevent that. So so I kind of gave her a free pass. Here's another free pass. Here's another free pass. And what ended up happening is like you give people too many free passes and they're it's bad news. You can't do that. Okay? So, but that's a form of guilt and manipulation, using my heart against me. It leaves you feeling confused, depleted. Like I couldn't process her betrayals because I was like, that doesn't make sense. Why would she do that? She must have just been traumatized. And like even though she did, and people would come and tell me all the horrors that she told them about me, like I'd be like, oh, she's just going through a psychosis. Like I didn't really understand that, like, no, this was premeditated. This was about energy harvesting. This was about destiny swapping. So you can't just like give free passes to people. You gotta like set it up from the beginning that it's a mutual respect thing. And when they start to violate that, that the doors do close and they don't reopen. Okay. Um, so it's really important to find out how to break free. And I'm going to offer you a beautiful command level decree today. And this is part of something that Maya the shaman has given me and that she does for her clients. And it's just amazing. So I'm going to give that to you. You might also want to work with Maya the shaman to help you do energetic divorces. It's a little bit different than just cutting the cords. I don't do cord cutting because the cords are still there. You actually need to pull them out. And clearing soul ties. You want to learn about energetic protective rituals. Um, and then you need to do a reclamation, like calling back what's rightfully yours. So you also need to start auditing all your relationships. And this is something that was so interesting when Creator told me, like, I needed to step back from all my relationships because, as it were, a lot of the people in my life and in my relationships were actually harvesting for me, or they were seduced into these groups. And so, like, it was very toxic. So I actually had to release. And when I did, I saw a huge increase in my own energy and I called back all my energy. Um, and so I'm very watchful about people in my life. Like, people don't get away with the things that they got away for a long time because I had no idea about this stuff. I was not educated. It was through my own lived experience and research and praying and asking Creator. And then, these like decrees that Maya gave me. Um, it's time to get your house in order, you guys. Okay, so there's so many systems that do this, energy harvesting and then energy trafficking. So, for example, energy trafficking. Let's talk about that again so you understand. So, like, my cousin would be like selling my rights to my energy to people I didn't even know that were in dire situations, like in jail, all the crew that she was involved with. And because she had access to my energy via all of the items I've given her. As I told you, I've given her two of my wardrobes. She's had like a lot of my things and handwritten like sisterly love letters and things that were very personal that I gave her. So she had access so she could broker these deals. And she would promise them, like, do these rituals and then you can get her energy. And so for a while, like it was working because I had no idea what was going on. I just know that I was having crashes and like things were happening to me all the time. So once I got a grip of it and I was like, no more. When Creator showed me, I was horrified what I saw. I don't even want to tell you what I saw. Um, it's gross, you guys. These people, they try to demoralize you energetically in every single way, desecrate you. But remember, this is all them. This is their own shame and disgust. It has nothing to do with you. So when you separate that energy, and I had to cut off everything that I had and say, I had to pull back my energy from all my things, and you can do that with decrees or with Maya the shaman. I was able to call back my energy. And then I was like N to the O and O and O and O. So I'm going to read you a decree. Okay. And all you have to do is say yes if you want this to apply to you. Okay. I'm doing this for you guys because I know a lot of you out there, beautiful souls, you're star seeds, you're empaths, you didn't come here for this BS, but this is how they trap you from moving forward in your mission, in your work. Um, I've had so much stolen, like all my pictures and a lot of things that I was working on stolen because I made a big mistake. I pulled everything out of Dropbox and put it on my computer. I was going to sort through it, but then I think it was like a couple days later, Dane had his guy when I went into some place and I locked the door, stole. I was traveling, stole my computer, my purse, and everything on there. So I lost everything, guys. I've lost everything. It wouldn't surprise me if these people like put out, life insurance policies on me because I've been, they come for you in every single way. But that doesn't stop you from moving forward because if you have a purpose and a mission, yeah, that causes a lot of pain because I had childhood pictures, digital, that I'll never be able to get back. He took so much, and he thought it was a game. He thought it was funny. He thought it was fun, but that energy didn't just disappear. Like, that's the karma he has to live with. And even if he is offsetting his karma on other people now because he was dumping it on me for such a long time, um, he gets unassuming victims. Like, he really fed off me and my pain for a long time because they feed off you when they create pain, that's when they get to feed. So the loosh was juicy, but not anymore because it actually gave me a sense of detachment. I've lost, I got all my jewelry was stolen, my diamonds, things that I were so precious to me. Um, it wasn't just diamonds. I had this Andara crystal named Merlin that I absolutely loved. Like, it was like this, I can't even describe to you because it was so special. And, he took it. Um, all these things that were taken, I had to learn about letting go. And that, like, nothing in this world, everything is temporary. Like, I'm not attached to material things anymore because easy come, easy go, guys. It doesn't, like, yes, I love beautiful things. Yes, I love living a beautiful life. Yes, I love luxury, but I'm not attached to it. It doesn't define me. Like, I can adjust to any situation because I just have that capacity, and it's a good thing to have. You shouldn't be so attached to things that it breaks your soul, you know, if you don't have them. Because those are the things that they're going to come for if they're coming for you. They want to steal everything that's precious to you. When they first started, they came for me with death spells, and guess what? They hit my dog, and my dog died a horrible death, and they really fed off that pain. But they also, I had a partner in our publishing house before, and they were coming for him too, and his dog died at the same time. He almost got in a fatal car crash where a semi truck hit him, and it took him years to recover, and he actually had to leave Radhaa Publishing House. But that's the thing, like, they want to come not just for you, but the people that are helping you, people that are close to you. And like, that was an initiation. Like, I had, like, letting my dog go in that way was like, it was so painful. And of course, I would have had to let her go no matter what, but it initiated me into understanding, like, nothing in this world is like forever. And that's why it's so stupid to be on team darkness and destruction, because nothing in this life, you're working so hard and you're destroying people's lives so you can get more. But nothing here is permanent, not even the power that you get. Like, you might as well just enjoy your life, like, live it, love, like, because the cost of what you lose by hurting people and destroying people is you're losing particles of your soul. And that's why they feel more and more dead inside. That's why they have to do more and more drastic things to try to get that feeling of aliveness because they lost it. Well, dude, you didn't have to lose it in the first place. You could have just said, like, no, I'm not going to do all these terrible things so I wouldn't have to lose particles in my soul. That was a choice, but don't make other people pay for your choices, okay? Because it's not going to work. It's not going to work on me, and I'm not letting people build off of me. I build a lot of people up in the work that I do. I've always have. That's just my nature. But people don't get to just come in and siphon and steal and destiny swap. Like, it's going to hurt because if you build something off of my energy, when I come in and say I'm taking that back, it's like all the little blocks fall down. And then that's even more pain. It's just stupid. All you have to do is reconnect back to source, okay? You just have to say you're sorry. Do the right thing. And then also pay people back. If you stole from them, pay them back. If you destroyed their car and had somebody run into it, give them the new car. Do the right things. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. You think you're going to save your money, but you're going to pay for it. Not maybe not in this life. You'll have to pay in multiple lifetimes, in multiple, like, the debt When you leave this life with debt, like you could pay it off in this life and then that debt is over, right? But when you take it to your death, oh my gosh, you're just like quantifying the pain and the debt just gets quantified and quantified and quantified and quantified. So not worth it. That's just my 2 cents, okay? So here's a decree for cosmic judgment for energy traffickers. This is a command level decree for the reversal of all energy trafficking, loosh harvesting, and spiritual exploitation. And we thank Maya the shaman for giving this to me today. If you choose to use it or write it, please be sure that you credit Maya the shaman. By the authority of Source, under the eternal law and the full sovereign alignment with my divine self. By the authority of the original source of all life, by the eternal flame of living creator that breathes through me, by the holy power of my uncorrupted core light. I speak now as a living decree. I am the flame that cannot be trafficked. I am the light that cannot be stolen. I am the infinite self who sees what was hidden and commands its return. Let it be known across all realms, seen and unseen. There are those that have trafficked energy for the purpose of personal gain. They have built empires, rituals, wealth, and legacies of stolen soul light, harvested from the innocent, the pure-hearted, and the devoted. They have siphoned actual energy through false unions. They have drained life force through astral contracts, fake mentors, and binding initiations. Through human trafficking, energetic trafficking, and they have weaponized trauma to extract Loosh. They have bound children, women, men, and starseeds in secret rituals, educational systems, and deceptive programs. They have used mirror magic, bloodline inversion, sex, inversion, and ritual trickery to entrap souls and feed off their energy for lifetimes. I name this now spiritual slavery, energetic trafficking, energy looshing, and I say this no more. I now command the immediate spiritual apprehension of all energy traffickers, loosh harvesters, false initiators, and those who profit from stolen light of others. All cults and their leaders, all black magicians of any kind, all false light gurus hiding behind false light, all entities, archons, dark ETs, beings, spirits, humans, embodied or disembodied, who have stolen energy, including any siphoning devices, drained life force, or fed upon my soul stream or the streams of others. You are now commanded and summoned to Creator's court where you are judged. You are bound by the laws of eternal light. You may not run, you may not hide. You are seized by the highest cosmic forces of enforcement. Seraphims of absolute flame, dragons of divine judgment, and thrones of original law. Let your names be written in the scrolls of judgment. Let your acts be revealed in full. Let your systems be siphoned. Let your systems of siphoning be shattered and incinerated now. I command the full reversal of all energy siphoned from me throughout all my timelines, dimensions, time, space, continuums, lifetimes, incarnations, technologies, portals, spells, rituals, seductions, and manipulations. Whether this energy was taken through astral cores or implants, false twin flame bonds, sleep infiltration or soul theft, bloodline betrayal, karmic harvesting, through torture or abuse, sex rituals, demonic rituals masked as healing, religious initiations, new age deceptions, or corporate exploitations. I revoke and dissolve it all now. I collapse every cord, hook, grid, agreement, or reversal field that trafficked my essence. I collapse every artificial identity, energetic siphon, avatar harvesting or hijacking, or mirror clone created to redirect my light. All stolen energy, soul essence, spiritual gifts, abundance, and joy are now commanded to come back to me, cleansed, cleared, purified, decontaminated, and reactivated in the divine source light code. Returned and purified, returned and sealed in my own sovereign field. Take a deep breath. I command the complete dismantling of all trafficking systems, cults that feed off of followers' light, secret societies that use rituals for abuse, corporations that build on human pain and actual trauma or collective despair or animal abuse. Healing programs, apps, retreats, or technologies that invert energy, grid systems that trap light workers in false contracts, AI and hybrid entities that track and harvest soul data. Every machine, egregore, altar, tethering point, timeline grid, and parasitic field used for energy trafficking is now located, exposed, and vaporized by Creator's flame and the seraphim of 100% pure light. I call forth the forces of cosmic enforcement, the thrones, the councils, the seraphic order of light, to storm every dimension where trafficking occurs, destroy their data, destroy their black books and boxes, destroy their occult contracts, destroy their generation rituals, destroy their astral prisons. Erase the blueprints, codices, and frequencies that allow these atrocities to persist. I now command that all trafficking and traffickers of energy face their final judgment in Creator's court. Their false powers are stripped, their soul codes are scanned, their misuse of gifts are now recorded, and their karmic debt is calculated now in full. Their timelines are frozen, reviewed, and corrected. Their access to my field is permanently banned and revoked. I decree any being who misused their power to extract my energy, whether through trauma, thievery, seduction, manipulation, ritual, hypnosis, or MK Ultra, is now sealed from the grid of light, cut off from my timeline and source, and returned to the council for sentencing under divine law. There is no forgiveness offered here, only justice, restoration, and sovereignty. I now command the full restoration in my field. My DNA is now recalibrated and sealed in the light of the Creator. My codes are now reinstalled. My auric field is fortified by divine intelligence. My soul stream purified and protected. My divine purpose and mission is now unblocked. My prosperity, power, SE actual, life force, joy, visibility, brilliance, and my beloved are now returned to me untainted, fully embodied, and eternally sealed in this love, light, and healing. I am untouchable to those who try to harvest. I am unharvestable. I am sovereign. And from this moment forward, no one may ever siphon my light, harvest my pain, or access my field again. I speak this decree as infinite source, a living flame of source. It is irreversible, irrevocable, indestructible. It cannot be bypassed, hacked, reversed, or mirrored. Anchor, lock, and seal until done. It is done, done, done. This decree seals across all time, space continuums, all realms, timelines, realities, dimensions, and layers of self. And so it is. Anchor, lock, and seal. Take a deep breath. Again, if you wanted to receive this, you just say yes. I know that was a lot and a bit all over the place. I get ADD about this stuff, but I'm very passionate about protecting, and this has to stop. This has to stop, and it starts and it stops with us individually. If you want to heal the world, heal yourself. If you want to save the world, save yourself. Start to do the work because everybody is interconnected. The weight of others' distortions creates chaos in the world, and the clarity of others creates clarity in the world. So I hope that you benefited in some way and that this helped you. I want to send you all so much love, light, and healing. And no matter what path you've chosen, you always have the choice to come back, lock into the divine timeline, the timeline that is encoded with source energy. You don't have to be a vampire for the rest of your life. You can choose something different, something new, something much more rewarding. And as you can see, you have the power. So until next time, much love and blessings. Bye for now.